What's going on, everyone?
Hey,
What's up?
Welcome to another episode of Carbonite Bounty BS with me and the nerds here.
That's
Interesting
right.
week, man. An interesting week. I say off chat, guys. It has made my week other than the episode, based on some of our conversations we had with friends and their opinions, which we need to get on air. I think
Oh no,
that's
we're
another.
gonna air this out. Some people are gonna get a
Yeah,
little bit of the treatment,
yeah.
a
So
little back the tank.
we definitely need to get some opinions on the stratosphere. But so before we even get anything, let's let our guy DP let you guys know where to find us at.
NerdSencyclopedia.com, people. Make sure that you're going to your favorite website and getting your favorite social media platforms to add us at Nerdcyclopedia. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and also TikTok. All right. Make sure that you are listening to us on your podcast platform of choice: iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher. Wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, we are there. If you are watching us on YouTube right now, thank you. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button and also hitting that notification button. So anytime that we're on, you know that we're on. Tell your friends and share the cast. If you're on Facebook, thank you as well. Make sure that you are joining our Carbonac Bounty BS of Star Wars group, and posting some of your favorite comments and stuff on, the shows and what you think about us, and posting all your favorite memes and everything too. If you want to leave us some feedback, nerds at nerdcyclopedia.com, where we're get all your feedback and everything, and we're just doing it up like that.
I want to apologize, DP, for last Sunday. So sorry.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hey,
Well, just had to get that in there. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
that's right.
But
We won the game and then didn't go to the playoffs. In your face,
Best of the
Cleveland.
best of the worst.
in our faces. Oh man.
Yeah.
so just want to
Took a
get
team
that out of the
Best of
way.
worst.
So
team from
sorry.
Miami to boot you guys out,
Yeah, leave it to the Jets.
Boo.
Leave it to the Jets to never do anything right. Thanks a
Hmm.
lot, New
man.
York.
Could they not ever score 6 points? Come on, man.
And to do it so brutally too. It's like they took the Steelers season apart like Batman on an operating table. You know what I mean? Just terrible.
They used everything in the belt. They took all the tools out of the utility belt and made sure that the Steelers could not make it. God damn it.
Yes.
Anyway.
It's been it's a fun.
All right,
It definitely,
that's enough of that.
definitely an enjoyable weekend for sure, sport wise, and like I said, I mean, our comments literally made my weekend. I literally I still am taken aback by what in our group chat was said. I mean,
It's been a
geez.
yikes time.
Oh my gosh.
It's okay. We tend to agree. I almost feel like we talk ourselves into agreeing. So anytime I hear
Yeah.
like a different opinion, I'm like, is that
Yeah.
like, are there people that disagree with me? I don't know.
Right? Yeah. Hey, that's the fun thing about our community, though, right? Everybody has their own opinion, so
Absolutely.
whether we like it or not, everybody has their own opinion on
And
topics.
we're all assholes, so
That's
Right,
true.
We all got one of those, right?
One thing we don't know is if clones have one, but that's another story for another day, right?
Do they?
Yeah.
Do they defecate like the rest of us?
Right. But yeah, I mean, leading into this episode, I mean, it was pretty interesting, right? I know we've talked about
More
it
than
online, but
interesting. Stop underplaying the episode. It was
Yeah.
friggin' fantastic. This
was.
is what I'm
It
talking
was.
about.
Because it was really like an
Yes.
ode to the beginning, right? It was classic. It was classic Clone Wars, classic Star Wars, but it was cleaned up. It's refined. It's what you would expect Avatar 2 to look like instead of Avatar 1. But,
And no Bad Batch. There was no Bad Batch.
right.
Well, it depends on if you count.
It was a
You
spin-off.
count Crosshair, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Depends on if you count him,
Crossover episode. Okay.
right? But yeah, I mean, as far as initial reaction, I really don't have an initial reaction, but I will say that it was highly enjoyable and something completely different than I was expecting. Definitely different. I guess we'll go cat of corner. We'll go with you, Governor Tarkin. What are you thinking?
So I like the cleaned, like you said, T. Mitch. I like the cleaned up, storytelling of Clone Wars. I like that the Empire is getting a little more frosty. We're seeing them as the agitator and losing grip. They're not really in control of things as as obvious on Desic because they had no control over that planet at any point. Loved seeing the battle droids. I don't know. I love those guys. I love the Roger. I love the comedic relief, but I started to. I don't know. I watched the episode 2 or 3 times, and every single time I'm thinking, I'm rooting for the battle droids. I'm rooting for the droidicas.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to win. I don't know why, but I liked like Bullseye or Crosshair is completely like I don't get him yet. I think he's going to come back. I think he's in there just as a like a spy, an interloper. But I think he's going to come back. I think he's going to come back to the batch. I really do, because I sense things in him where he's given these missions and he's like, why am I not in charge? Why am I not the commander? And he keeps getting dissed by the Empire twice. So I think he's gonna like kind of see where his bread was buttered, and I feel like he's gonna come back to Wrecker, and he's gonna come back to those guys because he sees him. He's gonna finally realize that he's really not a clone. He's not this controllable weapon. He should be doing more. He should be doing better. But I did like him putting a cap in Amos, whatever her name was, right at the end. That was great. I mean, that was like out of nowhere. Okay, let's move on. He was good. I liked the episode. I thought it was a nice battle episode. Not a whole lot of story, but we did get to see some good content.
Yep. What about you, Hitch?
I really like this episode a lot. At the end of the last set, I was thinking to myself, what's up with Crosshair? Where's he been? Because he's probably not dead. They left him for dead for 32 days, and he came back. He comes back to the Empire. He loves the Empire. I am thinking they've disabled his chip, or we're going to find out that if they disable his chip, he just goes right back, because this is really just who he is now, is this evil guy. I like that what they're doing with this character is basically he's going to be, it seems like they're setting him up to hunt down these defective clones, to send him after the clones that leave. And in that way, I think he is kind of like a Blade Runner. And this episode had a lot of things that reminded me of Blade Runner. That's why it's my thing that I'm saying this week. This felt like Star Wars and Blade Runner having a kid together. We got a lot of synth type music, a lot of those sort of, this planet they're on has like a pink sky, which is very Blade Runner-y. And I really enjoyed that aspect of the episode a lot. They're setting all this stuff up for a conflict between, Crosshair, who says soldiers follow orders and that's all there is to it, and these other clones that feel like, look, we were created to protect people from robots. We should probably not be killing people all the time. It's really a super interesting premise, and it's nice to see that they're giving this conflict or bizarre lack of conflict its due. I like what they're doing with this character, and I like that they're sort of foreshadowing that there will become the Crosshair's time working for the Empire is running out. They're not going to have the clones in operation forever. We know that because we know what happens with the stormtroopers. Mm-hmm. And we know that, well, basically, they're gonna basically flip the switch on him, and that's just gonna be that. So, do you think Crosshair doesn't seem like the type of guy that's gonna take that line down? I think he'll shoot somebody else for sure on an order, but shoot himself, we'll see. My aside this episode, my number one aside is what metal do you think these battle droids are made out of? I've always sort of thought they're like just aluminum cans or whatever. So they're really kind of just push them over because like wait,
definitely not adamantium,
Yeah, they're not indestructible.
No vibranium, no adamantium,
vibranium, nothing like that.
They're recycled. They're recycled metal. That's all. They're recycled. They're just junk. That's it.
I was thinking about like what's the point of these things, and basically they're just a way to get a gun pointed in a direction somewhere. So as long as that's all you really need from an army, they got you covered.
Yeah, no, I mean, what about you, DP?
Did I ever tell you guys that I hate the Empire?
Oh, come
Oh,
on, man.
out of left field with this.
You know, it is what it is. You know, this episode was excellent to me especially after coming off the first 2 episodes of, getting us acclimated to our heroes and everything. It was kind of refreshing after coming off Andor, really, and getting the whole vibes of like the Empire, the evil Empire, what they're doing to people, how they're treating people and stuff. And this episode sort of like piggybacks off that to me, as far as like the whole vibes and like the continuing the themes from, from Andor. So to me, I was just picturing and viewing it under the lens of this is just Andor continue, except we're just seeing, the clones react to, what we've been seeing, on Andor, and on top of seeing what we've seen in the Clone Wars and everything, was totally happy, totally satisfied. It was all Crosshair, episode. I'm focusing on him. Of course, I got upset when, the Empire comes to try to take over a planet like a gang, trying to take over a neighborhood and everything. They got to get their, bid in, and, they're just ruthless with theirs, And then the heartbreak, which Ken say he loved at the end, was, Crosshair's killing, whatever her name is, I forget. But
that was legit. That was like gangster right there.
That was, it was totally gangster, and they telegraphed it well, because you knew Cody wasn't gonna. Cody, it really was there to show how much the clones are different and are the Order 66 was there as just a switch for them to follow orders, but they still hold their own, I guess, level of what we want to call it, Scott? Level of choice, a level of
agency.
Yes. So they still have a level of agency with them, even though they follow the Order 66. And the conversation that Crosshair and Cody had was very poignant, because Cody's at that point, him being defective at the end just told it all right there. And it was just funny how the one guy was just like, it seems like all these clones just disappear all around you, talking to Crosshairs and everything. And Crosshair, I think he's just observing everything. I can't say he's going to be either evil or one or two ways and everything, because he did kill, he's just following orders, but he did kill the person, the lady at the end there. I mean, in that sense, like I said, I love the episode. It continued to vibe, like I said, of Andor to me. And it's just getting me right back into the mode of wanting to see the conflict that's eventually going to come between the Empire and the Bad Batch, especially Crosshairs and the Bad Batch again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the episode started pretty crazy. I mean, we got the Planet of Desix, which I thought was like kind of like Mustafar. So I'm like, oh man, they're not doing this already.
Mm-hmm.
And then they gave us a quick shot to Coruscant, which was shocking, because you kind of seen like we ask about it all the time. What happened to the Jedi? The Jedi Council, the Jedi building, the temple. Like, it was basically burned to the ground similarly, but it seemed like there was a structure there, and you wonder, did the Empire take that over? Like, kind of what happened as far as the Jedi relics? Because as we see in Andor, we have traders that have Jedi relics. It's like, it's almost like mercenaries kind of went in there and ransacked it, right? They just stole everything. So interesting to see Coruscant again. I didn't expect to see that, in this episode, which is really shocking to me.
Yeah, get back to Crosshair. Like, he finished his mission. Okay, he was given a goal, and I think it was brutal, but I think it was just, he was done. He was done. He got to the end. He was told what to do under any means necessary. He was told, fix it, and he did. There was an opportunity, and he was like, okay, I'm going to fix it. I don't think there was any malice, I mean, really, on his part. I think he just wanted to move on to the next mission. Because think about it, these guys, these soldiers the ones that are kind of breaking away from the mold, they just want to complete missions. They just want to move on to the next job. And I think that's what his mindset is. I don't think he really.
Do they? Okay,
Yeah.
so judging from your statement and comment there, if this is the mission Crosshair, if wants completes and everything, and Cody is like the antithesis of that, of okay,
the opposite, right?
Yep. Yeah, the opposite of that. Okay, well, we could do this in a peaceful way and everything. What does that say about Crosshair? That he's still willing to do the Empire's bidding no matter what.
So there's the thing. If the Empire sees him as the guy that's getting the job done, they're going to keep giving him missions and trusting him, because that's what you got to do. If you want to take down your enemy, you got to get them to trust you. You got to get them to give you bigger and better jobs and let you in closer. Because what was the first thing? He said, "Oh no, you're not ready to command yet."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now this next one, maybe he's moving closer to that. So if you're in command of an infantry, now you can do what you want with them. And if it means being a jerk just a little bit to get a hold on something, it's worth it.
To do what though? To take down the Empire?
Yes, because you have to destroy a little bit. You have to. There's
already a guy trying to do the inside job of the Empire, Darth Vader.
We don't even hear about him yet. We're just talking about these soldiers that are given these really dastardly tasks of taking over these planets and enslaving these people. You got to get in there, and you have to. But
by your definition, Ken, those are still missions, though. So why would the soldiers? So why would the clones defect? Why don't they just follow orders?
I have an idea about this.
Or are those lies? Is that just propaganda? Where are the soldiers going?
The clones themselves were not bred and trained to kill, to do a lot of murder, and it's hard for them to do it. They don't like it. They're like, they're like if we're a guy that drove a monster truck, pretty much, right? Like, sure, I could drive over some people with that monster truck, just like I drive over cars, but I'd probably get a lot more messed up from driving over people. And there's probably a lot of people that would drive the monster truck over cars that wouldn't drive the monster truck over people. And
are there people in the cars?
That's a great question. If you know what I mean. So
I'd still be driving over the cars.
Well, you're that 20%. It's like 20%, 1 out of 5, right? 1 out of 5 people just do whatever you tell them all the time. That's you. It's 25% on this show.
No, but you bring up a good point though, what you said, DP, because I think in the beginning episode when they that lunch scene, right? You start to see that even the clones are becoming a little more aware, right? When they're discussing like, oh, should we vote this person in? Should we do that? Should we do this? Like, you're seeing like it's almost like the chip, they're not responding to just orders anymore. And maybe this is the turn where we start to see some of them defect outside of this, that maybe more and more clones they're losing that grip, so to speak, or maybe that the gene that they thought they had in that first version of Omega and Boba, is flawed somewhat, so to speak.
Yeah.
All right. So just clear my inform me. The clones start defecting and everything. Who's taking over to become stormtroopers? Where are they getting these people from?
Well, remember the factories are gone, so they're starting to pick up just random idiots, maybe Coruscant. I'm guessing the larger planets where there's human systems. They're starting to almost like a military draft type setup.
They're enlisting. Yeah, they're enlisting kids. So wait, before we leave it, the lunchroom scene, right? How about that PA announcer? How about she was like, "Goat, oh, here it goes again." Like her inflection on the line, it was the same line both times. Did you catch it? It was like she'd been doing this forever with this guy. So there's something going on here. There's some backstory here with CC-9904 that we have yet to hear about. You know, I think there's more to this because he's not a dummy. And there were scenes where he was with his boys, his defects, his other defects, where they were tight.
Mhm.
Right? I mean, they were together, and that's why I think there's something going on. And I don't mean to come off as like I just want to kill innocents just all day long. I don't care. But there has to be some carnage, and you have to build trust with your enemy for you to get back at them. Right? I mean, that's
Central
the
Anakin
way
and
you
Ken.
do it.
Has to be some carnage. Vengeance requires blood. We all know
I mean,
that.
that's
It's
the
war. It's war,
um,
and that's Andor. Andor exemplifies that.
Yeah. I mean, I can dig it. That's what's his name? The Skarsgård. What was his name?
Oh,
Luthen?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Luthen. That's Luthen.
yeah, Luthen.
Yeah.
He'd kill you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
If it meant,
I don't see that in Crosshairs, but I get where you. I think Crosshair I think he's just a straight up a-hole, man. Straight up. You
They
know.
took my chip out months ago. I just love the Empire so much I'll murder anyone for it.
you sound just like it.
Just give me an order.
Order me to do it and I'll do it.
Oh man. Yeah. It was I mean, overall though, it was very effective episode. Very not as plot heavy and everything, but I think we needed this to see where see where Crosshairs is, you know. So we're setting up bases. We set up bases with our heroes and everything. Now we're setting up bases with our antagonists, you know.
Maybe I'm jumping ahead. Maybe I'm reading into it. Sure, you know.
You could be right. I mean, I could very well be just like, wrong and everything. And it surprised me at the end. Crosshairs like, I did this for you guys.
I was an undercover agent this whole time.
And maybe he didn't kill her. Did we actually see her body in the square?
Not in the square. We saw the smoking crater coming out of her chest, man.
I didn't see the gun on
that's pretty
stun
final.
for sure.
No, we didn't. I mean, the gun could have been on stun. We don't know.
That's a strong stun if you're smoking.
That's a strong stun.
I think they're dead. Yeah, they're stunned. They're stunned.
Yeah.
That's how like Ben Affleck's Batman was stunning everybody.
Well,
stunning their face with his car tires.
Robert Pattinson was just killing everybody. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was killed. That's the first time I've actually seen like Batman go for blood. I mean, honestly,
in the Batman, you don't remember Batman versus Superman?
Yeah.
Martha,
you talking about Steel City's favorite movie?
Oh, don't do this to me.
Whoa, I hope not. I hope we're joking.
No.
Martha, come on now. That's as bad as.
Why'd you say my mom's name?
Yeah, like
his mom's name is basically Mary for the 1930s, right? Like everyone was named Martha back then, I guess.
Yeah.
The surprising part about that, it did not occur to me when I first seen that movie that they both had parents that with the same name. I was like, oh snap, really?
That's a real. It sounds like a real interesting coincidence until you realize that Bob Kane was kind of a hack. And just stole a lot of stuff off of Superman. Because I think Superman came out like June 38, and then Batman was like April 39. So it's only 10 months. Most people didn't even know.
Let's just do Superman in the dark with no powers.
Ooh, no power.
No power.
Yeah. Everyone knows Bill Finger contributed all the good stuff to we all know that. All right.
Anyway,
sorry. I digress.
Yeah, but we all love Crosshairs. He's definitely super interesting. Definitely excited to see more of him, and definitely can't wait to see him go against our heroes and stuff. I'm definitely encouraged that we're going to get a lot more of the Empire stuff, and to see where they're going, to see more. coming off Andor, like I said, we're getting like, a lot of the empirical, just them gradually taking over sectors and stuff, planets and everything. We're seeing them, doing their thing, doing their evil empire stuff.
I like the initial, like the transition stormtrooper we started to see, like from clone trooper to stormtrooper. It reminded me of the Macquarie design of the stormtrooper, where they sort of still had a helmet, like I don't know, almost like a
skull helmet.
Yeah,
like
something that came down over the respirating tubes.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very really chunky. They were kind of more, they're more toward the clone, but you didn't really see the streamlined stormtrooper uniform yet. So I like that they were kind of building that out. So I expect episode 6 or 7 or 8, maybe we're going to start to see stormtrooper armor, and we'll see actually where, like we asked, where are they getting them? Because they got to go human now. They have to get humans that can be manipulated. We have your families in a dungeon, and we will continue to chop off their fingers unless you do what we say. That type of thing.
Or at some point, aren't they taking like kids and training them?
Kids and training them from a young age, and that's real like first order shit right there.
Yeah. Well, those are majority of those. Remember, Force sensitives allegedly. I mean, the story is so broken, so I can't give you 100% accuracy. But
let's not worry about all of that.
Let's just talk about what we know.
But they're taking children that are some Force sensitive, some not.
So are they that much better than the Jedi then? I mean, everyone's just kidnapping kids in this galaxy.
Yeah.
It's a very rude place. It's a very rude galaxy.
I mean, the Empire is no different from the Republic, except that they kill people.
And the Republic wasn't doing that. I'm telling you, there's something to basically these guys were like target shooting. I mean, it's like target shooting. They shoot just a robot. It's just a robot. It doesn't have any, any feeling or anything. Just shooting an actual person. I feel like I've done one. Like I would, like I said, wreck a car, but wreck a car with a person in it. Like Ken said, like that's a whole different ball game.
Every single battle droid that got hit by blaster fire screamed. Every single one of them announced some agony as they powered down.
You know what? There's something to what you're saying, because Ken, every time they do like a droid on, in this universe and everything, they have some sort of sentient something about them.
Yeah.
Everyone from what the droid we seen in Andor to the to these clankers and stuff. They react in ways where I'm just like, wow, a robot wouldn't act like that, but it's sure funny when the clankers do it.
These are AIs. I mean, these are far advanced. So we're building these robots, but the robots are actually thinking, living things. I mean, they're following orders. They're reacting. And I'll say it again. Every time one of them died, it screamed.
Yeah. Our characters in the universe don't respect them. But what we see them in a different light, and like I said, they have some sort of sentient thing about them and stuff. So, it's just funny, like it was a welcome scene to see him back, because I haven't seen those since Clone Wars, and I'm wondering how much more we are just going to see them, or are we going to this is just a fan service type of thing. I have no idea where all this is just going to go, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far with these first 3 episodes there.
No, it's definitely been good watch. Wish it was a little longer, but obviously with it being an animated series and the runtime they had before, I mean, it's hard imagining to draw that much content to get it out. I mean, because pretty much this has already been pushed back 6 months. So it's just probably production issues and timing has become an issue as far as trying to I mean, I couldn't imagine how long it would take to get a 50-minute episode for them to actually draw that, to scale it right, then actually animate it. I mean, that's almost a year's worth of work there. So
Yeah,
um,
Disney could do that in a heartbeat. They could figure that out. Come on.
hopefully, I mean, but there's a lot of projects on there. We talk about all the time. So much content on the horizon, so many things. And obviously with us, fan content's on the rise. I just feel like so many people in our community enjoying these shows. I mean, more and more stories. It's great to hear from it. I mean, I'll take the 28 minutes. I'll take it. We talk about it all the time. We'll give you the money. I mean, I was jonesing for this. I mean, I
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
jonesing,
It's
jonesing for
it's a
content.
good good. I guess if you want to call it a palate cleanser or whatever,
Right.
especially coming off Andor and everything. But it fills the gap, fills the space in that need for more content and everything. Especially if you're super into Star Wars. Like I said, if you're looking at these animated shows as okay, they're not worth it, not being worth being seen. I think you're the wrong. I'm in my opinion, and this is no judgment to any of you Star Wars fans out there. I think you are missing the point of this universe. They want you to read these stories. They want you to watch these shows and everything, expand the stuff. All of it counts. All of it counts. It's nothing that okay, well, you need to dismiss this because it's not like the original trilogy, or it doesn't take it's too kiddyish or whatever. It all counts. But the great thing about it is you can have different tones to suit different people and everything. The Andor was like more for like the adult, mature, aspects of the Star Wars fan, whereas you got like the Lego stuff. It still counts, still story elements there. You still got the Lucasfilm, story group there, making sure that they don't run into stuff that happens in the movies and everything. You still tell your sections of the story and still have the kiddies, into the stuff, and it all counts.
Well, I mean, just think about when we started these animated stories. Since we started watching these, I think my view and my ratings on the prequels have actually went up because what this done, it better explained some of the holes that Lucas couldn't fill, right? So if
Mhm.
anything, this helped the prequels and maybe the original trilogy.
Yeah.
However, with some people's opinion, this just shows how piss poor this sequel trilogy was, right? I mean, it really does, and we see how Filoni, and it's one of those things. If you are going to like Star Wars in the future, if you're going to follow this Filoni verse, if we're calling that, I think you 100% have to watch the animated stuff because it gives you a vision, and it kind of, as we've seen, chronologically tells you what's going to happen and how it's going to happen, right? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. The,
Outside of maybe outside of a couple episodes, I think of what Rebels when we watched it, there hasn't been in any of Filoni stuff too much filler, which is crazy.
the only thing with animated stuff is people's adverse reaction to animation, especially adult or oriented animation. People aren't really Americans, I should say, are more used to like more the Disney kid animation. They're not used to like adult stuff aimed at adult animated stuff aimed at them. And anytime they see something that's animated and not real, all they think of is just it's for kids. It's animated, it's drawn, it's CGI or whatever. So that's for kids. That's not for me. I need something I could physically see and touch that that actually bleeds blood or whatever. That I can look at and say, okay, that's real. Even though it expands the story, I think watching the Clone Wars, especially in the beginning when it was really slow, and that's why I'm so proud that my Hitch there, got on board and everything.
Oh boy, it was tight.
He could testify and everything, but he hung in there.
I did it. I did it.
Ken too. You guys hung in there.
It was a slow burn.
It got better.
This,
Yeah.
but you hung in there, came around, and I wish like a lot of the Star Wars fans that are adverse to like the animated stuff took the patience, especially if you're really going to call yourself a Star Wars fan, a super fan and everything. You got the knowledge, you got like the heart, you got the passion for it and everything, but you're going to sidestep the animated stuff? Come on now. That's not being fair.
It's easier to get the content now because like we talked about like years ago, you didn't know when this stuff was on. You'd have to catch it. Like it was on 11:37 on
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Those
Right.
old Clone Wars cartoons on Cartoon Network, man, were exactly like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
now
they
it's
would do those.
all there, and we have to let's. This is all great stuff we're talking about, but how about the Dooku reference?
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like
Another Dooku
thought-
reference.
they thought Dooku was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he was doing. He wanted to.
He saw. He foreseen everything with the Republic and everything.
Yes,
Yeah.
he saw this downfall. He saw the uprising of the Galactic Empire, and he saw a way to circumvent it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It sort of makes me go back and watch episode 3? Yeah, episode 3, and just to pick apart a little bit of like the Dooku parts, not the rest of it. Well, it was a good movie. The Dooku parts. Just to see where his head was at, and if they telegraphed any of that and everything. I mean, Filoni does a hell of a cleanup job, but the Dooku reference was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought of that while we were talking. And,
Yeah.
but we have to remember, like the Clone Wars animated series was like they were just trying to rekindle the Star Wars universe in the public because it had basically dropped out. So they were trying to get a younger crowd. They were trying to get kids involved. They thought, well, if we get these like 6, 7, 8-year-olds watching this, then it'll generate interest. It'll generate income. We can put some toys out. We can put some action figures out. Cartoon Network was like, yeah, sure, we'll run it.
Yeah, it's Star Wars. People watch. It's Star Wars.
People watch, but we want kids because we want the kids to grow up, mature, watch the new stuff, watch the old stuff, and kind of get addicted, like we all have.
To Cartoon Network's credit, the early stuff started out like I guess kiddish if you want to call it, but it gradually got more mature as seasons carried on.
Yes,
to the point where that seventh season came out. That was nothing like what we experienced in season 1.
Right.
Completely different stuff. Completely different vibe.
I mean, that's a testament though to them listening. That's the biggest thing with this. I won't say just Filoniverse, but since the change, that Disney really took over, I will say people bash Disney for a lot of things. And when we talk about maybe them taking over the WWE and what's good and what's bad, I mean, I will say this. Disney does listen to feedback, regardless of whether we like it or not. These blogs, what we say, whether we think they're watching or not, they have people that literally scour YouTube, scour Twitters, scour Facebook, taking keywords, pulling things out, and reviewing what people say. And I mean, they do these adjustments, these series adjustments, whether it's analytics, like you said, the first season they want to do for kids. Analytics, kids aren't watching. Maybe we need to turn things up, make it more adult themed, get them to watch. What happened? We started watching it. It made it more, the same thing with even a Bad Batch season 2. Look at the release date when it came out. Arguably the hottest time where Marvel's Phase 4 was dropping off, right? What do? They figured, they saw the movie skates. They knew Avatar would rule the next 2 months. Why not drop it in now where literally there's nothing until Ant-Man? It's genius, right? Because there's nothing to watch. There's no content. Let's drop this in because now we'll pull everybody in. I mean,
Everybody watch it. Yep.
It's genius how they do this. And it's all analytics at the end of the day. So we say what we want, but I mean, Disney's made this a Star Wars, basically unlimited. It's a blank check, as Hitch calls it, literally. We're writing blank checks. And the more subscribers on Disney Plus, the bigger the shows, the more A-list actors we talk about we're getting. I mean, they can write these bigger checks because they already have, they have my subscription unlimited. They might as well just give me a lifetime package. I'll sign it now. Like, just sign me up for Disney Unlimited forever because they have me.
Send it to you in a little coffin.
Yeah, right. The shareholders can, they can tell the shareholders we got at least one that's going to have it forever because they got me.
The uniform Crosshairs was wearing and everything. I thought that was pretty cool. The black, all black.
It's kind of like a Death Trooper type look.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like one of the that we saw in Rogue One, which was recommended that I watch.
What's the plot of that movie, Ken?
Rogue One, it's these guys that want to destroy this giant weapon, and they go against this big force. This is like this big government thing, and they find these plans that are on a floppy disk. It's really convoluted, but there's this guy with a red like light sword of some sort.
Light sword.
Yeah, he comes out of nowhere, and like he's like
Tyson.
yeah, I want to be on that guy's side because he seems like he's going somewhere. So that's Rogue One.
He has a plan.
He had a plan, or he wanted the plans.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, definitely. But yeah, guys, I mean, it's been another fun episode. Yeah, it's definitely like bittersweet, so to speak, because I just feel like I'm not giving the show enough credit because of I hate to say it, and we talk about it, like where Andor was, and where this is going. This is still great, but to me, like I just, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, I don't know. I have that taste, that feeling in me. You know what I mean? Like
Well,
Andor, it's just like that feeling. Andor was just like, oh my gosh.
we
That was like a hangover.
everything's not going to be Andor quality and stuff, but I
Everything's not
recognize
gonna be that, right?
I'm in the Andor hangover is what I'm saying.
I recognize Filoni's talent with these animated
Oh,
stuff.
for sure.
Like I said,
Yeah, for sure.
I really commend him, especially with this particular episode, and just making sure people know that, okay, you guys watch Andor, but we covered a lot of this stuff on Clone Wars already. So you talk about, okay, and Andor need to get all these awards, and I mean, we never seen this with Star Wars. We never Filoni said, yep, we did this already, in Clone Wars. So and in Rebels,
Yeah. And they do a good job of even this show and this episode drip feeding you to having to watch previous stuff, as you said, right? And that's one thing I do notice. They show a lot in here that, like, well, you have to go back and watch season 1, right? Because now you want to know, like, what's that all about? So they do a good job in their storytelling of kind of, like you said, drip feeding you to make you go back. Maybe not to watch Rogue One every day.
Every episode.
Every episode every week. But no, they definitely do enough to make you want to go back and watch things. And like I said, it's a testament to the storytellers, to Filoni and their vision. I mean, it's a lot
I
to be
didn't know
said.
that the Lucasfilm story group started back in 2014. I read that just today. That so that wasn't a thing until Disney bought the
Right.
Well, Disney bought the Empire. I mean, I'm sorry.
Disney bought the Empire.
It became the Empire. And once was a beautiful republic of cartoons, and since
everyone will wear ears.
Yeah. Well,
no matter who you are.
DP, the idea of the story group was was really Favreau and Filoni's idea before they really came on board fully, and it was because of the success with Marvel. Is they kind of wanted to have like a core group of people that was like a story group, right? That were fans that knew a lot about the content, that they can kind of bounce things off and really be like the hub. Because and I don't know. I guess like as we talk about, we digress, but it's just maybe the story group went on hiatus for a couple years.
Well, I mean, they booted all the EU stuff out, and then they had to really start all over and keep some of the. They kept all the core stuff and animate a couple of the animated shows and everything, but booted all the rest, which pissed a lot of the Star Wars fans off.
It was the books, I think, because the real like the tip of the spear nerds in the Star Wars universe were reading those books. That's what they were doing, and by waving their magic wand and saying none of that happened. They really alienated the tip of the spear, and it took them a long time to sort of generate that sort of relationship with the younger generation.
Right.
I think Clone Wars was successful in that. I think when we talk about the childishness of the early seasons of the Clone Wars, I think a lot of that's attributable to its target audience being like 10, and now it's been like 10 years. These guys are interested in like The Godfather now, and like the equivalent of whatever The Godfather is to these guys. I don't know. Maybe it's like I don't know. I don't know what it would even be.
But well,
Goodfellas, these guys.
yeah, but that makes more sense of why Andor is so successful, right? Because if they had a 10-year mission to have those 10-year-olds now be 20-year-olds,
Yeah,
we have Andor, which is that kind of like gritty,
yeah.
gangster type feel. So I can understand the vision if there was a 10-year plan, from there to now. That it
And
makes sense.
I think why it works is because who did they still have after the prequels? The kids. They had like the 8-year-olds that were watching those movies, and they lost a lot of the people like us that were older. And I think
Because of who?
I'm sorry.
Because of who? Who? What character?
Oh God.
Oh,
We all know what it is. You don't Gun City, Jar Jar Binks. We know who did this.
Mm-hmm.
You stay out of America, Jar Jar Binks.
Yes.
said it.
If there was
I
no
said it.
Jar Jar in Phantom Menace, that film would still be regarded as the stepping stone of the Star Wars universe.
We've discussed that I think that movie is almost in whole superfluous, and still
Unwatchable.
is.
No, you said unwatchable.
It really is.
Unwatchable.
If I could skip everything except the lightsaber fight, it's pretty unwatchable. Because you can catch up
Mm.
on the rest in the exposition at the beginning of 2, and really you don't miss nothing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that's a controversial take. That's a hot take.
Mm-hmm.
My hot take of the week, but it's not my hot take because I've been saying this for years on this show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Years on this show.
There wasn't enough action. Maybe we have to. We'll
There
have to get
wasn't-
together and
So
do
what
a
if Crosshair took out Jar Jar somehow in some weird mixed up timeline? Like,
Just like I owed it to all of you.
Hey, I mean, you never know. Ahsoka with what was that? The
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 war
time
between
piece,
worlds. The war between worlds.
you know, we that's going to be a new area to explore with this
It
whole
will
thing
be.
that Star Wars has never, got into.
Yeah.
The whole time and space type of thing.
Yeah, that would be
So,
really
we
interesting.
see if it does lead to your theory, T Mitch, about them, just redoing 6, 7, and 8. I'm sorry, 7, 8, 9, and everything. That
I
would
would
be
love
the way
that.
to do it.
They might not redo it, but I just think between, like you said, an event what happened to where things have altered and it can change things slightly. They might not rewrite the movie, so to speak, and really redo them. Because there's been leaks already now that they're actually in pre-production for post episode 9 work. Obviously, Daisy Ridley hasn't been too busy, so she's open to reprising her character.
Is that the Damon
she's
Lindelof?
open to any work she can get.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, I don't know. They're looking at maybe not a movie, but maybe something kind of like on this Disney Plus kind of Ray or something like that. So definitely, like I said, more content. And I mean, with May the 4th coming out and a lot. We have 4 months to prepare really for an onslaught of stuff because that's usually, other than Celebrations, their biggest release date. So
Mhm.
May we'll get a lot more content coming as well. But yeah, guys, another interesting episode. Another good review as far as the Star Wars episode, I'd say.
Yeah, good.
It's a build up into our big months because as we talked about, February becomes pretty crazy with this, the Ahsoka stuff getting ready to come out. We'll have Mandalorian this year, and like I said, there's a lot on the back half that really hasn't been officially announced. I'm sure we'll hear about soon. We obviously have Boba coming again. Is the Boba Fett come out this year, or they push it to next year?
I think
no Boba
it's the end of this year, isn't it?
No, it's no Boba this year.
Yeah, they probably pushed it, but I mean, I'm sure there'll be other stuff to
Ahsoka,
come.
Mandalorian, and then the
No
Acolyte.
Rancor riding.
I mean, not the Acolyte, Skeleton Crew. I think the Acolyte.
Acolyte comes out some point this year, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll probably be later in the year. But yeah, the Acolyte will be fun.
All of it, Give me Ahsoka. Inject that into my veins. I need
As
that.
they depict the Jedi Council over the years, there should always just be one unexplained A-list actor in the Jedi Council, just like how there was during the prequel era. So Samuel L. Jackson, they should just cut in, and Tom Cruise should just be sitting there like this, with like no explanation whatsoever. Just
Or
sitting
Rob
there.
Lowe. Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
Much better.
So you want us to?
Better.
Yeah.
I think
Or-
that's excellent.
or
I think it's great.
They could go the other way. They could go like a comedian. Like, how about Chris Tucker?
Hey, he could fit in there,
Yeah.
Just put him in.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of famous people in the costume, right? That's been a Star Wars thing. I don't know if you've read online, but there's been so many people. I think in episode what was it, episode 7 or 8? Daniel Craig was one of the stormtroopers. So
Mhm.
like that was like his dream, and yeah, he was an extra, so he wanted to be a stormtrooper, and he was actually accredited in the movie as being a stormtrooper. So
And LeBron James could be R2D2. I mean,
No,
who knows?
no.
you have to be 3PO or somebody super tall. Yeah.
No. LeBron, you stay in LA.
Yeah, LeBron, you stay in LA. Stay away from the movies.
Stay away. Stay
Yeah.
away from Hollywood, LeBron.
We've
Yeah.
done a review of Space Jam 2. You're good on that, man. Yeah. Review of Space Jam 2. Don't watch.
That'll be next week.
Yeah, don't watch. But yeah, guys, another good episode, and as we say, we'll wrap this up and head into episode 4 next week as we keep the train rolling. So next week, guys, this is the way.
This is the way.
Way.